Hi everyone, welcome to the session on EDA with used car sales. Here I am Yoga. I will walk you through the various aspects of data analysis to understand the data, defining the problem statement, and defining the insights by visualizing the data. Okay, let's get started. So for the agenda for this meeting is to have a talk through several aspects. So the discussion is logically arranged to deliver the content much effectively. So we will be initially talking about introduction to the used car sales dataset and what is the problem statement coming with that dataset. The third item is the exploring the dataset and uh, what is the observations that we made and what is the conclusions that you come across uh, during the process of exploration of data. And finally, we will walk you through about the actionable insights that will mitigate the problem statement defined in a previous uh, agenda items. Let's move on. As part of introduction, the data set contains the used cars sales of a particular company, so which is located in America. So it has this data set contains approximately around 10,000 records which are collected over few decades. Okay, and we will also see what's the structure of the data and how it is defined and what are the cells it has. So this table represents the set of columns coming up with this data set. Okay, among them, uh, the car model, which is pretty straightforward to understand. The car is nothing but the car brand name, whereas the model is a variant. Year represents on which year the particular car was sold out, and the body talks about what is the body of the car, like whether it is a hatchback or a crossover sedan or is it a van or wagon, what kind of body it is. And the mail list engine V is nothing but capacity of the engine. So whether it is 1 liter engine, 2.5 liter engine, what kind of engine capacity it will talk about. The engine type is talks about what kind of which fuel injected vehicle it is. Is it a petrol injected vehicle or diesel injected vehicle? Um the next column it talks about the drive. Drive is where what is the driving wheel for the particular car? Is it a full wheel drive, front wheel drive, or a back wheel drive? And the registration talks about whether the car is registered at the time of sale. Check if the vehicle is registered or not at the time of sale. Okay, so it is just a boolean value which will tells you true or false whether it is registered or not. The last column it talks about a price of the car, at what price this car was sold. Okay, this is how at high level the data the looks like. This is the structure of the data that we have now. Let's dive into the understanding the problem statement. Okay, so this US based uh, used car sales company has a very good reputation with customers because of its sincerity and the quality of services that they are offering to their customers. Despite of their service, they are experiencing the slowdown their sales. That that is a major concern from that company, and they are asking us to look through the data and come up with an insights what could be the potential reason for this say for this slowing down of sales, and how what is the suggestions or recommendations that they're going to propose to them to uh, get rid of this uh, problem. Okay, so for that exploratory data analysis will gives you a very handful insights about the data. So there is a lot of difference in terms of looking the data in a tabular structure and rather looking the data in a pictorial representation with some graphs telling the which tells the trends and all. So to explore the data, which is very important to organize or format your data set. For that, we need to use some kind of profiling techniques to understand, is there any missing columns are there, is there any duplicates records are there, so that if you're not doing this profiling and cleansing the data, if you're not doing that, the results that we are going to derive out of this analysis might not be effective or accurate. So to avoid this kind of problems, so we need to do the data profiling and understand any discrepancy in the data or not. So for an instance, here we can see that there are 113 duplicate records are there. There are 945 cells are having missing values. So this is our responsibility as an analyst to figure it out and fix those data. Apart from that, this particular data set is having a five categorical values and four numerical values and one boolean value. Yep. So let's get started with the data exploration. So to as I said, before we are starting the data explorations, we need to make sure our data is correct. So from our previous slides, we have been observed these discrepancies in the data. So the first item that we are going to do is a data profiling, which I talked about. And second one, we need to find out the missing or erroneous data. And if you find them, we need to do the cleansing. If you have any duplicate data, remove it. And fixing the missing or erroneous values will be depends on what kind of data it is, what is the central tendency, what is the spread and central tendency of the data, and whether it is a um, what is a categorical value or a continuous value. Suppose if it is a continuous value, probably we can take a mean, provided that it doesn't have outliers included. So in your data has an any outliers, probably we need to consider a median value. And if you have any categorical value, so probably for that missing values, we can choose go for a mode. Okay, this is at high level that we need to handle in terms of cleansing and profiling part. Let's deep dive into the data exploration. After uh, all doing the cleansing part, this is how the data looks like. This chart represents this bar chart represents the top 10 car brands on sale for the over a period of time. So, here is a clear winner that Volkswagen and Mercedes and BMW is taking the one, two, three positions respectively, uh, proving their maximum sales. So this is over a period of time. Okay, for the these are top 10 brands. And we can also see this is a line chart which was pulled for the top five brands yearly sales. So initially all the sales are touching the ground, and over a period of time it is fluctuating, and we can see the year by year sales. So here we can see the interesting things like VAG is a car brand which is a top five brands reported sales, but in the recent years the sales are almost touching the ground. It's almost fall down. So we need to keep an eye on these kind of brands. So this is one observation I can say. So though there are so many fluctuations in the market, but relatively the green this Mercedes Benz cars are recently more selling out, and as well as followed by the BMW. Of course, the Volkswagen cars are mostly reported the high number of sales, but in a recent days, it's not as good as before. Yep. So, despite of this Volkswagen and VAZ, rest of the brands or top five brands are considerably doing good job. So, yep. Let's move on. And if you zoom in that particular sales for the recent years, as I said already, the VAG brand car manufacturer is having very less sales. It is almost touching the ground. This is very important observation that we need to note. Okay. Um, yep. Let's move on and let's see that there are few charts are there which is talks about sales and revenue based on a class. So the data set having a price, and we categorized those cars into economy, luxury, and premium cars. And we have these sales with we can see the maximum number of sales from the economy class, and followed by luxury and premium, which is expected. But if you see the pie chart here, which talks about the share of each class with share of revenue of against each class, you can see the economy class sales are very high, but the revenue generating out of it is very relatively low, which takes a third position. Though the premium cars are sales are very less, but it is taking the first position in terms of revenue. So which is a very considerable observation here. So obviously we need more revenue rather than selling more cars. Of course, these are correlated each other, but these are the observations so far. And one another thing, yearly, if you plot these the data, we can see the for the economy class, almost in the recent years touching the ground, means that the sales are almost zero. In other words, despite of it, the premium car sales are skyrocketing, and the luxury cars at least maintaining their consistency in terms of sales. So this is with respect to sales, but if you look at the revenue part of it, the economic car sales in the recent year 2015 and 2016 um, is together is just uh, revenue of a premium car sales are almost 500%, means five times uh, more than the rest of other car types. So this slide will explains about sales based on a body type. As I said, the body type is nothing but whether it is a crossover, hatchback, sedan, what type of it is. And it is clearly says that this bar charts explains us overall the crossovers, sedans, and hatches are the more demanded car by body types, and it is observed that recently the crossover sales are skyrocketing. You can see that here in the recent years the crossover sales are at at, 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 at peaks. Okay, so there could be a possible reason here for declining the sales. We can see the van and wagon are poorly performing in terms of sales and losing the market. Yeah, these are few observations. These are the potential, could be the potential reasons for the slowing down the sales. Yep. This slide will talks about the what is the mileage and registration happen on a particular car. What is the average mileage provided by the economy cars, which is around 300 units, and whereas luxury cars are giving around 200, and premium cars is somewhere around 160 units. So by this is the box plot which will give you the what is the least mileage that is giving in an economy class, and what is the considerable um, maximum mileage that they're giving. But we can see these are as an outliers. Yep. So that is with respect to mileage. If you look at the registrations, we can see the 10.6% of the economy car sales cars doesn't have a registration, whereas in luxury and premium cars it's almost negligible. Meaning what we can derive out of it is uh, the economy cars are okay to have few cars without registration, but it is very much mandatory in almost for luxury and premium cars. Okay. Let's move on next. This particular line plot describes the car sales based on a class and engine type. So we are considering two variables now for what is a we want to know the price of the car based on class, and we want to know the price of the car with respect to engine type. You can see the price of the premium cars. The name itself is saying that it is skyrocketing, but we interestingly we observed that the premium car sales are also increasing despite of the price. And there is another interesting thing that I can talk about here is there is a gap in between the price ranges. So the economy, what is that? The like premium cars are starting around 37K, and and the luxury cars are around 20,000K. But between this price range, I can see at least in the recent years there are very minimal in terms of sales, or there are no cars sold out, or organization means the used car sales company might not have any cars produced in this price bracket, which could be a um potential reason for losing some of the market. Because we should my primary thing is we should have a cars with all price ranges, so that customer have a much flexibility in terms of choosing the car on a specific price bracket. So for an instant, if a customer is coming to walking into the company and looking for a car within this price bracket, if there is no such cars available with you, and we are obviously losing the market. This is a very important thing that I feel we need to consider. And as well as for the engine types, how the prices are varying. We can see the uh, gas car prices are almost touching the ground. There are very less. It is close to 10K around. uh, the car price, the gas car price are very low. In other words, and in a flip side, the other car type, fuel type, meaning either it could be a hybrid car, an electric car, having very high prices. And we can also see the front wheel and four wheel drive cars are mostly sold out here. We can see these are take the top positions. And recent days, uh, the full wheel drives are further more increased. This is the overall car sales. But if you see in the last 5 years, the car sales for the four-wheel drives are even further increased. So here it is a four-wheel drive car sales here in the top first graph, and this is in a second graph. So here again it is still taking the same positions for full front and four-wheel drives, but rear-wheel drive sales are considerably slowing down. Okay, so uh, this page will talk about what is the prices and sales of each engine type cars, and how the correlation between how the prices and sales with respect to price and sale for each engine type. So if you see here, if the price of petrol cars are raised over a period of time, but uh, though the car sales are fluctuating in the recent years, it's still looking towards uh, more increase in sales. If you look at the gas type cars, the sales are skyrocketing along with the price, even though price is growing, and as well as the sales also growing, so which is a good sign. But here the gas type, this is the thing that we again need to consider seriously. Even though gas price cars are very low, the sales are keep on declining, meaning the sales are coming further and further down. So which tells that customers are not at all preferring in choosing gas type cars. Okay. uh, the final chart will talks about the means line chart will talks about the other types, like whether it could be hybrid or electrical vehicles. So despite the high prices, still they are consistently maintaining their sales over a period of time. And we're also looking at the sales before sales of these cars before 2012 and after 2012. And before 2012, we can see the gas cars are almost occupied 22% of the sales, whereas in the recent years, that percentage gone down to 7%, which is a very considerable number, and which we seriously need to consider or correlate with respect to the our problem statement. And despite gas car sales are going down, and but it's The diesel car sales are grown to 40%, which is interesting, and as well as uh, the petrol car sales are still maintaining consistency and in similar percentage of sales in the recent years. Uh, Interestingly, the other cars, which are the future tech featured cars, comes under this category, which are shown a 3% of increment of sales in the recent 3 years. Quite interesting. Okay, let's look into the other aspects of all we are trying to identify. So we have a problem statement of particular used car sales company is losing the sales, some of the sales. Okay, what could be the potential reason? That's how we are doing all this analysis, and this will give you a fair idea and gives a little more details about how the car sales and prices are correlated, and let's over a period of time. Let's see that. So this graph, this is a pair plot drawn between sales of a particular sales of the cars with respect to at what price those cars are sold, and how these are performed over a period of time. So if you see, the prices of the cars are increasing over a period of time, so that is expected. And the other interesting plot I can say is when prices are here, prices, if you're going upwards, the price is increasing. If you're going horizontally, the sales are increasing. But you can see the dense of sales reported in this particular region. Okay, the sale most of the sales are scattered in that particular region. What it says, the sales are more in this price range, that is from 10,000, approximately from 10,000 to 40,000. So hope you remember some time back, in a couple of previous slides, we have reported the the cars offering in this price range are almost negligible. So from this slide, we can say that that is the most dim, potential price bracket for maximum number of sales. This could be one very serious or very potential reason for losing the sales. Okay, so if they can procure some cars around this particular price range, between this price range which is missing in I shown in a previous slide, could be beneficial to the company in increasing their sales. Let's zoom this a little more. You can see the most number of sales are in this price bracket, but unfortunately there are very few cars in this price bracket from 25K to approximately around 4 or 5 cars only sold out in this price bracket. Okay, which is disappointing for them. So if you can procure more cars in this particular price range, probably the sales can be increased. Yeah, let's move on so we have come across several plots which are giving a very meaningful insights on the data. Let's summarize our observations and conclusions here. We can say that most of the car sales are happening at a price range of from 10,000 to 40,000 bucks, but there are very few cars sold in this price range, but that is 20K to 36K. In this price bracket, there are very few cars were sold out, which is a competitive price for the very competitive price for the most of the customers to buy these cars, which is very crucial for our addressing our problem statement. And the economy cars are mostly comes with the gas engines, but the recently the customers are not preferring the gas cars, which will whereas petrol cars are more consistent in terms of sales, and diesel cars are gaining the momentum, and the other cars are gradually increasing. Okay, and the other observations here is none of the cars sold from economy segment in year 2016. So in general, if you see the past history, economy segment cars are most selling cars, whereas in the recent year 2016, it reported ground touching sales. So this is an area where the company has to focus on, bring more and more economy segment cars, not from the gas engines, bring from petrol and diesel cars for the boosting of the sales. Obviously, I cannot expect the electrical variant and the most premium and hybrid variants in the economy class, but so mostly if you bring more and more petrol and diesel cars in this economy section, so we can again gain the momentum of the sales in this section, in this segment. The other observations here is that car registrations are mostly considered in luxury and premium cars. It is okay to some extent in economy cars doesn't have a registration. Still, customers are willing to buy for several reasons. And even with affordable price ranges, the gas cars are other engine types are least preferred. So most preferred engine types are petrol and diesel, as I said in previously, and the body types are crossovers and sedans. And other car types are consistent and gradually increasing the sales. Yes. The overall, the sedan are always in demand and follows with the crossovers and hatch. Okay, so van and wagon type cars are least preferred. So there are tremendous sales reported in 2016 for the super premium cars like Bentley, Land Rover, Toyota, Tesla, Lexus, and so on. And recently, crossovers are leading the sales, followed by sedans. And most of the recent premium cars engines are petrol type. So that is another interesting point. These high premium cars are mostly from the petrol engine. So these are our observations. These are the conclusion, and nevertheless, so it's also worth to mention that there are few car brands are losing the market, where a few of them are gaining the market. What are they? So VAS, and these are the list of cars which are losing the customers preference in terms of these car manufacturers. You can see that Daewoo, Chevrolet, and these are losing the market, whereas Audi, Ford, Mercedes-Benz, and Volkswagen, and so these are still the customer preference, but these are not. These are the considerable observations that we made. Let's dive into the actionable insights to address our um, problem statement. Okay, the first actionable insight is the car should be available from all price ranges. As I said, the most competitive price for high sales are 10,000 to 40K bucks, but as I said, there are very limited cars from 20K to 36K price bracket. So it will definitely boost the used car sales if you're bringing these price bracket cars also. This is very strong recommendation that I can make. Okay, procure the cars based on customer trends. What is their likes and dislikes? Petrol and diesel cars are most popular. Go for them. And full wheel drives are most preferred in crossovers. If you bring some crossovers with back wheel drive or front wheel drives, might be customers are not convinced with that uh, options. So full wheel drive, so we'll go with the mostly preferred with the crossovers, and front wheel drive for sedans. And luxury and premium cars are used for booming the sales due to hike in the new car sales. So there are so much of hike in the new car sales for the new cars for the luxury and premium. So used car sales are booming up. So bring more and more. That's the reason customers are tending towards more and luxury and premium cars. So and reported very less, in fact, touched ground touching sales for the economy class. And other actionable items is we need to for this problem, not only in terms of um, knowing the customer trends and filling the gaps in the price ranges, we also need to address this problem tactically and as well as strategically. So there are so many car brands that I told you in a previous brand, they are losing market. So as you have furthermore cars in those, so you need to announce from great deals so that customers will clear the stock. Okay, so this will give a variety of benefits in terms of in that way we can save money and renting space for storing these cars and procuring more demanded cars like Mercedes, BMW, Volkswagen, Toyota, and so on will boost their sales because that's the most preferred cars from them. So, okay, rather than keeping um, unpreferred car brands, it's better to maintain the demanded car brands and procure more economy car price range because in recent years they are completely lost the economy car sales. The strategically, this is a strategic move to retain the car economy car sales by procuring more economy price range cars with a petrol and diesel engines, not by gas engines. Yep. So these are the actionable insights that I would recommend to the car, say a used car sales company. So this hope this will address that issue and boost their sales. Thank you very much.